What is going on, guys? Vanity here. Right off the bat, this tutorial has been inspired from this blog post currently on the screen, the author of which is Smith Carlson, who shares the details of an encounter with Dre one night in a Los Angeles studio, in where, and I quote, Dre's feedback on Carlson's song was, "Cool song, man, but one suggestion, try mixing this again in mono." Now, this isn't the first time that I've heard about mixing in mono, but it is something that I'm confident would help a lot of producers and engineers out there achieve a tighter and more solid mix. There are other articles that detail mixing in mono too, which are currently flashing on the screen now. Derek Alley, Kendrick Lamar's engineer, even details in one of them how it was a tip he also learned from Dre himself. All the links to these articles will be in the description. So that's the tip from Dre, mixing mono. But as I'm sure many of you are wondering, what's the benefit? What does mixing in mono do or change to a mix? The goal is to get your mix to translate well into the real world. The mix not only has to sound great in your studio, but also to people who aren't going to be listening in both the best environments and with the best equipment. Most people probably aren't even going to be listening to your mix in real stereo almost anywhere. Even when you're sat in the car, you're always going to be sitting either on the left or the right side and never perfectly in the middle of the stereo field. In almost every situation in life, when people listen to music, they're either multitasking or has some form of background noise leaking into the music. Meaning that all these fine-tuned panning adjustments and the kind of nuances that us producers and engineers are adding into the mix are being missed. When you have your tracks in mono, you can't get separation in your mix based on stereo panning. Now, I've actually found in the past that when separating sounds through using panning techniques, sometimes you can trick your own ears into perceiving that more separation is occurring than is actually present, which therefore obviously is going to impact the adjustments I make on an EQ, for example. But as soon as someone listens to the track on a mono system, the mix falls apart. Mixing in mono ensures that you don't have any false separation between sounds in a mix. It also means that you have to actually EQ and use other processing techniques to create pockets for each sound in the mix to fit into. Now, for me, it also allows me to gauge the true value of how everything is sitting in a mix and make the appropriate mixing decisions based on that. Now, many engineers have said in the past that if your mix sounds good in mono, it's going to sound even better in stereo. So why not give mixing in mono a try? In practice, some people like to actually mix their whole record in mono and apply all of the stereo imaging effects at the end. Others like to just check the mono capability of their mix to ensure that everything is balanced and sitting well together. Either way is fine, it's down to your own personal preference. I'm demonstrating this in Ableton, but the advice is sound for any DAW. There are a few ways of turning a stereo sound into mono. The first and probably most popular method will be to take the utility plugin as shown and pull the width down to 0. There is also a preset for this in the utility folder. This makes it sound mono, but be careful of phasing issues. I would recommend doing this channel by channel and checking for phase issues on each before you proceed. It also goes without saying, but leave all of your stereo imaging effects till the end of the mix, or once you've got everything sitting correctly in mono. Here's a little technique that I use for drums too, but please note though that this isn't to be used on an entire mix, just individual stereo samples as I'm demonstrating. We've got a clap sample here, and you can see from just looking at the waveform that the left and right channels are not exactly the same. I've got a little demonstration for this. So this is the clap in stereo straight out of the sample pack. I've then set up two channels, one with just the left signal and one with the right. This is the left on its own. And this is the right. You can hear how the clap has a slightly different tone between the two. You can actually get much cleaner sounds processing samples this way, and it's just something extra I wanted to add on the back of this tutorial. That's as much as I wanted to sound this subject. I wanted to keep the video around a sensible length and I didn't want it to drag on too much. Of course, you can go away and undergo further research and form your own conclusions on this topic, but please give mixing in mono a try and let me know how you get on in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. I hope this has been of some interest to you, and until next time, peace.